class 9C. So today again you all have to open your economics book and let's start with the chapter people as resource. In previous video we had discussed from page number 19 about the countries like Japan, where this country they invest more on human resource. Okay, though they don't have natural resource, but still they are developed and rich. Reason is that they invest more on the human resource. Okay, especially in the field of education and health, and that has made this country rich and developed. So let's start with the next page, that is page number 20. We will not just read this activity because this is like based on the visit. Okay, and right now we cannot take the visit. Let's still read out. Visit a village or colony located near to your residential area and note down the various activities undertaken by the people of that village or colony. If this is not possible, ask your neighbor what is their profession. In which of the three sectors will you categorize their work? Say whether these activities are economic or non-economic activities. Vilas sells fish in the village market. Vilas cooks food for his family. Sakal works in the private firm and Sakal looks after his younger brother and sister. So you have to remember these two stories of Vilas and Sakal, because there will be some questions based on these two stories. Due to historical and cultural reason, there is a division of labor. You all know the work, different people work in different way. Okay, like we know women, they usually do domestic work, whereas the men, they work in the field. Yes, so there is a division of labor. Different type of work is done by different kind of people. We know in the Sakal story, the Sakal's mother Sheila cooks food. She cleans utensils, she washes clothes and cleans the house and looks after her children. Sakal's father Bhuta cultivates the field, sells the produce in the market and earns money. So in this way the Sakal family was doing its livelihood. Sheila is not paid for the services delivered for upbringing of the family. Bhuta earns money. Sheila was doing domestic chores, like she was looking after her family, so she was not paid for her services. But Bhuta, he was going to the fields and he was earning money, which he spent on rearing his family. Women are not paid for their service delivered in the family. You all know about the ladies who stay at home. Okay, the housewives, they do lot of work, but still they are not paid for their service. The household work done by women is not recognized as national income, because that is not, this income is not adding any money to the national income. So the household work is not going to add any wealth to the nation. Okay, Geeta, the mother of Vilas, she earned some money by selling fish. Thus, women are paid for their work when they enter the labor market. Their earning, like that of male counterpart, is determined on the basis of education and skill. Okay, so you see that this side Geeta was working, so she was earning. Okay, and this is how she was bringing wealth to the family and running her family. Okay, now education helps individual to make better use of economic opportunities available before him. Education and skill are the major determinants of the earning of any individual in the market. Like if somebody is educated, that person can earn money. If somebody is skilled, like trained in a particular work, then that individual can be the source of earning income. A majority of women have major education. We know in our country women, they are not given proper education because they are they are considered that they will going to do the household work. So the parents, they don't send the girls to the school. I am talking about the families which are still conservative and following the old methods of growing their children. But nowadays the educated parents, they send their children, whether the child is a girl or a boy, to the school, and they want their daughter equally to gain education like their son. Okay, so women are paid low. Like if suppose the women, they are working, they are paid low. So here also we will see that the women who are considered in less in strength, they are paid low compared to men. It is believed that they will not be able to work as much as like men. Most women work where job security is not there. Various activities relating to legal protection is major. Like there is no law for them that there should be equal wages for men and women. Okay, so hardly there is legal protection for them. Employment is this sector in this sector is characterized by irregular and low income. In this sector, there is an absence of basic facility like maternity leave. You know, in labor class, no maternity leave is given to the ladies, no leaves are given for child care and other security system. However, women with high education and skill formation are paid at par with the men. You know, the educated women, they are paid equally like men. Among the organized sector, teaching and medicine attract them most. We see most of the women, they prefer working in the medical sector and the teaching sector. Okay, because that gives them the proper timings. They can equally focus on their family as well as to their job. Ask your sister or your classmate what she would like to take up as a career. So this is a simple question. All the girls, they know, nowadays the girls, they are smart, they know what career they have to choose. Okay, quality of population. The quality of population depends upon the literacy rate, health of a person, indicated by life expectancy and skill formation. Now the literacy rate depends upon the health of a person, because if the person will be healthy, his or her life will be more. Okay, skill formation acquired by the people of the country. The quality of the population ultimately decides the growth rate of the country. Like if in a country the people are healthy and educated, then this indicates that there are more and more chances of the growth of the country. Let's talk about education. Sakal's education in the initial year of his life bore him the fruits in the later years in terms of good job, because he studied some skilled course. You all know he studied computer, and it was just like when we sow the tree, sow the plant of a fruit, in future we will get fruits. So it was like fruits for Sakal which was he getting when he finished his studies and he got a good job, he could earn more. So in this way you can see, just through education an individual can earn more money for his or her family. We saw education was an important input for the growth of Sakal. It opened next horizon for him, provided new aspiration and developed values of life. Not only for Sakal, education contributes towards the growth of society also. It enhances the national income. See, if any person is educated and earns good, then this is also good for nation. because when the person will have more income, he will pay tax, and taxes will increase the national income, the cultural richness, and increases the efficiency of governance. There is a provision made for providing universal access, retention, and quality in elementary education with a special emphasis on girls. These days, government education policy is also emphasizing more on the girls' education. There is also an establishment of pace setting of school like Navodaya Vidyalaya. In each district, vocational streams have been developed to equip large number of high school students with occupation related to knowledge and skill. Vocational training is also emphasized in the various schools. Why? Because if the person will be skilled, we were talking about education and skills. Okay, if a person like to just train himself or herself in a particular work, okay, then that person will be trained and will be called skilled person. So this will help him to earn his or her livelihood. The plan outlay on education has increased from rupees 151 crore in the first plan to rupees 3,766.90 crore in the 11th plan. The expenditure on education as a percentage of GDP rose from 0.64% in 1951 to 52 to 3% in 2015 to 16, and has remained stagnant around 3% from past few years. You see that GDP which is used for education is just 3%. Now the government in the new like program national education policy, their government is planning to increase this to 3 to 6%, which was very less on education sector. Okay. So let us see this graph which is showing literacy rates in India. You all can see this here in 1951. This red is indicating the education of male, green for female, and blue for the normal person. So you see in 1951 male they are more educated, and in 1961 again the males they are more 71. Again you see there is a growth in the graph of male literacy rate in India. Okay, but in 2011 we see that the female graph in 2001 increased, in 2011 it decreased to some extent. So this is showing some changes in the literacy rate of India. Thank you for today. We will continue it on the next one.